Abidemi and Vanessa. That's right. So yes, today they'll be talking to you about inclusive democracy. Like, is democracy inclusive in Nigeria? Are we young people included in democracy? But then I will just leave everything to Abidemi and Vanessa to unpack it. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
That's right. Vanessa, how you doing?
Hi, Ike. I'm doing good.
All right, amazing, amazing. So let's hear you. Let's speak. Let's dig in deep.
All right. Okay. First of all, just like to say that we are from the Open Mind Young Voices Youth Activist Program, which is an initiative of the Frederick Ebert Stiftung organization, and we'll be having the conversation mostly with a very period, based on what is going on in the physical space. So let's have this conversation. Let's share our ideas, and let's even hear as well from others, viewers, and all, based on their perspective on if democracy is inclusive in Nigeria. So I will actually be sharing some questions, and myself and Abidemi will be unpacking the stories. So I would just like to begin, though. Abidemi, what do we think, in your own perspective, what is inclusive democracy?
C is a system of government where everyone, regardless of their age, their gender, ethnicity, or whatever it is part of the political process. So, the typical definition of democracy that we see democracy for the people, by the people, and for the people. So it's a system of government in which these people are actually part of the process, not just talking about elections, because elections is at the core of democracy is elections. So, but we're not just talking about elections, but these people actively participate.
Okay, so that's amazing. And for one, we know, right, that we've been having elections in Nigeria. We've been having a lot of democratic processes and all of that. But bringing it home now, would you say that democracy is inclusive in Nigeria? And if no, why? Why is that? What exactly are these characteristics that doesn't make it so?
So yes, first of all, we practice democracy in Nigeria because we have elections every 4 years. But when it comes to inclusivity, I would say that we still have a long way to go. There's a whole lot that we still have to do because youth, women, persons with disabilities, and some other marginalized groups are still not involved, especially at the decision-making table. And this also shows a significant gap where we have the political elites that are the ones, doing the whole decision making for everyone. And then we have the youth that are out there, and then we have the women. Looking at the National Assembly, for instance, we have just 4% of women in the National Assembly, both at the House of Reps, with disabilities as well. So I would say that democracy is not inclusive in Nigeria because as when we talk about inclusive democracy as well, we're talking about accountability and transparency. But some youth, we go online on social media, we are unable to hold some of these political people accountable for their actions. And this is something that we should have in inclusive democracy. So when we talk about the characteristics of inclusive democracy, we're talking about accountability and transparency. It's a system where the electorate, we that votes these people into power, we should be able to hold them accountable for their actions, to be accountable for the campaign promises and for all the manifesto and all the stories that they gave us when they were trying to attain that power. These are things that we are supposed to do. It's also a system where every voice, every part is also represented. Nigeria as a country has over 400 languages, if I'm not mistaken, about 500 ethnic groups. But still, when we look at the political process in Nigeria, it is still skewed in the favor of the three major ethnic groups. And even within the three major ethnic groups, there are people that are still not, well represented in those spaces. So I would say that when we want to talk about inclusive democracy, it's a work in progress for Nigeria, but we still have a long way to go.
Wow, so amazing. Now, speaking to representation as well, just like you said, now we see that women, people with disability, and youth, these actually make up the majority in terms of the voting process.
Yeah.
But we still see that they are being marginalized. They're not really represented, even in the democratic process as well. So, would you say that this is a value system issue? Is it because we're not being valued? Because our population is quite large. So,
Exactly.
we're seeing, right? But what is really the problem here?
When it comes to values, I mean, sometimes people say it's not about filling these quotas. It's not about having people there. It's not about trying to say, okay, we need a woman, just bring one woman in. So it seems that we have a woman on the table. We need somebody, we need a person with disability, just bring one person with disability. And then people start to question, is this person competent enough? Is this person capable enough to hold this particular position? And for me, I'm of the opinion that these people that we are selecting to be included, because it also shows that they are excluded, they have to actually be capable, they have to be competent, they have to be knowledgeable about that particular process. They also have to have the requisite skills and qualification to be in that place. Because when we talk about power, political decisions affect everybody one way or the other, regardless of whether you want to say, I love politics, I don't want to get involved as youth. You know, you hear some youth saying things like, I'm not interested, politics is a dirty game. But at the end of the day, even if you're not interested, politics is interested in you. So I won't say it is a value system. It's a problem of where we have the elites. That's what I would like to classify it as. We have the political elites, and then we have us, the ones that are excluded. And still, when it comes to competence and capability, many people tend to often question that when it comes to the people that are excluded. But for me, I would say that let us ask these questions to everybody across board. Whether it is the political elite that has been in power for years, if it's a woman that is coming up, we shouldn't ask because it's a woman that is coming to be on that particular seat and start saying, oh, are you competent enough? Do you even have that experience? What political party have you belonged to all this while? What leadership position have you held? You know, all those kind of questions. I think if we are asking these questions to the marginalized groups, we should also ask these questions across board. It should be things that we are questioning at every sphere. These are things that we should ask and hold people accountable regardless of their gender, regardless of whether we want to include them or not. Yes, the people that are coming into power that are excluded should be competent enough, but this is not something that we should reserve for only the excluded.
Exactly. Thank you so much. I like what you said on accountability. So practically now, looking at the steps, how can we practically hold them accountable based on what you said? What would you say are the practical steps for that?
Okay, so first things first, I still think we need to strengthen our legal and institutional framework. And when it comes to institutions, I would like to use the INEC, because that's the Independent National Electoral Commission. And INEC should actually have that autonomy. INEC should actually be independent without the influence of anyone, without the influence of people in power, without the influence of well-connected people in governance. INEC should be able to carry out these elections without any influence. And also, monitoring the elections live. That is what the BVAS was supposed to do. But I mean, we can still see that that system is still a bit flawed. So we have to strengthen, and there should be strengthened legal frameworks, strengthen legal policies that would enforce transparency and fairness, so that when we say we are having free and fair elections, they would actually be free and fair. People would also be encouraged to come out. Also, we need to have autonomy of the media, because the media is the one that portrays what is happening. The media is the one that is putting things out there. And then there's something that people always say there's freedom of speech, but freedom after speech might not be guaranteed. So the media should actually have that autonomy to hold these leaders accountable. That's why we're calling it an inclusive system, so that when I come up to say something, it won't be a case of, oh, I'm scared of airing my opinions because of I don't want to be picked up, for instance. I'm scared of airing my opinions because I don't want any issues with people in power. So these are ways, like practical steps. One, autonomy of the media. I've mentioned strengthening legal frameworks. And also a lot of youths and women, marginalized groups, we actually have to be a part of the process. And one way is to join political parties. It's not enough to come on social media to rant from morning till night. You know, we're always ranting, we're always saying all of these things. We have to be a part of the process. And first step, just join a political party. It might not be one of the big guns. It might not be one of the popular ones, but it could be any political party at all, so that you know that at least you are even close. It might not look like much, but you know that you are close to the seat of power. Yeah, because if you're outside, you can't be making these decisions from outside. You have to be a part of the process so that they can carry you along as well. So that when they are doing those meetings, you will know that you are there. You will know that you have a voice. And there is strength in numbers. That's the truth. The truth is, in as much as elections are very expensive and many use, when we used to clamor for not too young to run, then we started clamoring for not too broke to run as well, because elections
the tickets are expensive.
Exactly. Tickets are expensive, the campaigns are expensive, and so these are some of the things that we sometimes weaponize. I'm going to give you an example. When I was in university, 400 level, I've always been interested in political processes. So they also wanted to contest for welfare officer, and she came to the class. Then matches was 10 naira. I'm saying matches, as little as matches. And she came to the class and said, I'm trying to contest for welfare position. I would like you guys to vote me as a welfare secretary. And she started flinging matches in the air. And I was shocked. It was a shocker for me to see it would have been permissible if it was 100 levels, because they just come now. But this one's 400 levels to then dragging.
For matches.
Wow. And at the time, many people were even laughing about it. But it was not laughable, because it goes further to show a much bigger cost. And this is what happens, especially at campaigns, because some people tell you, it's the person that pays me money. Because in 2019 election, same thing, I had a cost meeting. I was saying, what's my business? I really pray one of these governors should just come here and come and do this their campaign here and give us money, and I'm going to vote him. So this also goes to a systemic issue, because the poverty index of Nigeria, according to World Bank, is now about 56%.
No, it's not even according. I feel like it's obvious.
Nigerians are poor. Exactly.
It's obvious, right?
So sometimes these people actually weaponize the poverty of people. And apart from the fact, even people that are not poor, that thing that is free, let me just collect it. Sometimes that's just the issue. So another thing is a mindset change. We have to actually stand for something and believe in it. So when you have these things, you don't have people saying, oh, I'm selling my loyalty for a bag of gari. Because gari is actually expensive now. Ordinary egg is a problem. So these are the issues.
Right. So thinking of everything you said so far, and inclusive democracy, it's amazing. How would you gauge for people to be included into politics, governance? They need to have an identity, have the knowledge of it.
True.
Yeah, because how would you gauge the current knowledge of people, political wise? Like how aware are they?
People.
Yeah.
The masses generally.
Yeah, the masses generally.
Yeah.
How aware are they?
Yeah, so I can't speak for the masses, but I can speak for people that are in their spaces, for instance, because I know that a lot of CSOs do a lot of capacity building programs. One of those CSOs, Open Mind Young Voices. Yeah. It's a 9-month program, intensive program, where we bring people together. They bring several people from different walks of life. We have people in private sector, we have people in government, we have people in different places to train them to have these skills. Now, about people's political awareness, I would say that people are aware, but people are not interested in participating because of a lot of things that happen. There's the insecurity part of it. Yeah. In last general elections, we had a lot of people register, but a lot of people, the turnout was very low compared to the amount of people that register. There are people that just register so that they'll use PVC to go and be registering for bank accounts. Exactly. To go and register for bank accounts. So I would say that people are aware, but the willingness to participate is what I would say is not there. But they are actually aware. A lot of people are aware.
And one more thing, right? I personally have seen instances where sometimes people say, look, they lose interest in governance and the electoral processes because they felt like their voice is not heard. I personally heard people, like, I remember some elections will happen. I don't want to be direct or specific, right? Okay. Some elections will happen and the people say, like, look, it's no need my vote will not count. Yeah, I believe you've heard that statement as well, right? So they'll be like, my vote will not count, so it's not. Let me not waste my vote. Time.
Yeah, let me not waste my time.
Yeah. So what do you make of all this scenario, and how do you think this could be tackled or could be managed or improved on?
So yes, when it comes to people saying that their vote doesn't count, again, it still goes back to the flawed electoral system, because, like I said, when there is a political influence on these processes that are supposed to be independent of whoever is the incumbent or the person that or the political parties, then we have these issues. if we want to be monitoring live election, it will really help if we start monitoring elections live, because people would be seeing what is happening. Again, it still boils down back to the fact that the system generally is flawed. We do not have an inclusive democracy. A lot of people are not participating. Like I said, there is strength in numbers. If we had more youth there that will be speaking up for us, but sometimes you look at the youth, the person that they might call youth might be like 40 plus, and the person is a youth representing and speaking for the youth. So how do you intend to speak for the youth? That is another that is another issue. But again, like I said, the main issue here should be the institutional issue. We need to actually strengthen the election system, because democracy, at the core of democracy.
These are some of the difficulties that we're having. But regardless of all of this, how can youths now, create more awareness about inclusive democracy?
It still bounces back to the media, and thankfully, thanks to digital media, we now have easily accessible social media platforms that we could always say what we want to say. I mean, even these days, when people have a trauma, or they're in danger, the first place people would like to go to is social media, because they feel like they will get more reach when they are on social media. That's the truth. So, for instance, somebody is somebody's trapped somewhere. The person is coming online. Please help me. And before you know it, a lot of people are already rallying around to help this person. So the media is one of our strongest tools currently. Not just traditional media. I mean, the radio station, the newspapers, TVs. They are still very huge parts to play. They still have like their own parts to play. But the strongest weapon that we all have will still be the social media. And we can see how that also had a ripple effect in 2023 general elections registration. A lot of people will tell you that they decided to go and register. I mean, still did not show up in the turnout, because I actually voted and I saw the people that came out. So that's why it still did not really show up. But at the end of the day, we had a lot of people that voted, especially young people from the INEC data that came out. We have over 60% of people. There were young people that went to register to actually vote. Now, even the registration process is such an Herculean task. I know what I faced to get my PVC. So if they can make, those processes, exactly. So if they can make those processes less stressful, there's a reason why they said, okay, you can register online now. I registered online. I still got there. It was still an issue. So, but again, using the media to our advantage will really help, because at the end of the day, when you look at everything that is happening now, most of the things go to the media first. Even traditional media, they're now making use of the media. Most of them, I mean, there's all the newspaper outfits. They're usually on social media now. They post their links there. I mean, how many people even really have TVs? All we go to is go to YouTube, we'll watch all of this. So using the media would actually be a very strong force to ensure that more youths are participating, because there are a lot of people that influence decisions, and these are the people that sometimes we call influencers. The truth is, if more of these influencers are speaking about these issues, there are people that are diehard followers, there are people that are diehard fans of these people. They will follow what they are saying. That's just it. For me, I would say that the social media is one major tool that we have, and we can use it effectively when it comes to holding the government accountable and making sure that we are included.
And and youth involvement in politics, because I remember when you started this conversation, you mentioned something about being part of a political party, right? Nowadays the political party in Nigeria has been narrowed down to just a selected few, and not all of them are like youth friendly. You understand? Because we have our reservations, and I would say youths are usually emotional, right, towards a particular party, and they feel like nothing good can come out of this party. So why would I be a part of this party? Like, what do you think about? Because like I doubt if I don't think I have friends who are part of political parties. Like young people don't even want to, and there's no party so far that is accommodating young people, or would say, okay, this party is a young centric party, right? You understand? So what how do you feel, or what do you think would make youth want to turn up or be a part of political parties, right? Because I personally believe you just like you said, like, and I agree with you that you can, for you to have to, or to make change happen, you have to go in there to make change happen. But the youths are refusing, and because of their reservations for this political party, so they are refusing to be a part of these parties. And there's like, and I really don't know how rigorous it is, but I know it's not quite so easy,
Yeah.
to register a political party. Because if I'm not mistaken, a couple of years back, some parties were registered,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
but
taken down.
yeah, it was taken up by the INEC. Do you think this would encourage the youth or discourage them to join political parties?
It's actually very discouraging, honestly, because when it comes to a lot of the things that we do generally in Nigeria, it's actually such an Herculean task. You want to get BVN, it's heavy. You want to get NIN, it's another wahala. If we can remove some of these stumbling blocks, first of all, and have a central database, that's for this BVN wahala. Now,
Yeah.
but to encourage more youth, like I said, it's still getting in there, because we need more people, and the more people that we have, the more they can stand up for each other. Because if we all keep saying, I'm not interested, I'm not interested, I'm not interested in going there, the truth is nobody will be there, and we'll come back every day to come and start complaining about inclusivity. Oh, they did not include me. You too, they said when they did not include you, bring your chair and put it there. If you're not on the table, you create space for yourself on that table. That is how it's going to be. And then again, yes, it's very stressful to join some political parties. But I also heard that there are some political parties that offer forms free of charge for youths. There are some like that here that I've heard that they have some, because I don't want to mention names, but
I
there are some that have that offer like it's actually free to join some of those parties. You can start from there. But even though I also understand the fact that, okay, why do I want to join a party that does not have representation? Why do I want to join a party that does not even have mouth, that doesn't have political clout? Why would I want to join?
that.
Yeah, I would join that kind of party. Still, if you can, I believe that more youths should actually be involved, because the more we keep saying we are not involved, we are not included, we will just be out there ranting, and these people be pretending as if they don't know what is going on, and they actually do. So it is when we are part of the process, as difficult as it might be, if we can try to still just push through and say, I want to make change, you would actually be a part of it. And little by little, because sometimes they might even frustrate your efforts. That's the truth. So they might even frustrate your efforts to even be a part of it. But at the end of the day, if you can try to be in one, at least be in one, so that you'll be going for meetings, so that you'll be knowing what is going on, so that you can also stand up for the youth. Because if there's no youth on the table, they'll pass a bill, they'll do something that concerns the youth. And because there's nobody to speak up for them, everybody, the eyes have it, and the eyes will have it. And that would be
and I don't even think there's anybody representing the youth
Exactly.
in the higher
Yes,
chambers,
yeah,
right? So there's
yeah.
nobody representing the
I don't
youth.
think so.
I don't think
Just
so.
to ask this though, is it possible to like bring your own table to the room? You know when they say, join the table first.
Say join the table.
All right.
I think that it doesn't. It doesn't mean. I don't think that is a literal. It's in a literal form.
Yeah. Neutral form, right,
But
so
like
it's
in
not.
terms of like starting up maybe your own political ideologies or
Abi,
political parties and all of
you
that.
can
It's a
start.
long process.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
it's a long.
it's a good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, you're tuning to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And right now, it is Open Minds. We're having this conversation, which includes inclusivity, right, of democracy. And I'm here, P and Vanessa, and we are talking about how you can be a part of change instead of you just being on social media, just whining, being a keyboard warrior, as I call it, right? So how can you just be a part of change, right? Contribute to your own quota, right? I bring my own, you bring your own, we bring ours. Just like they say, little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. That's right. So you can be a part of the conversation. Just call us on 090-7353-0044 or 090-8766-8888. You can also drop a message on WhatsApp on 090-97054450. What do you think? How do you think? Or if you have any questions for Abidemi or Vanessa in regards to inclusive democracy? And the question is democracy inclusive in Nigeria? Are you interested in democracy? If you're not interested, why are you not interested in democracy? Because I feel like so many people are giving up, right? They're giving up, but you can't afford to give up. As a matter of fact, we can't afford to give up. That's right. I think the phone lines are buzzing. Okay, let's put this one. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Comrade Salisu on the line. I'm calling from Suleja, Niger
All
State.
right, Comrade Salisu, good to have you on the show. So, what do you have to contribute to what we've been saying so far? Or do you have any questions?
Yeah, for me, I see people argue that you are saying that the youth and they are not there in the party system in Nigeria. And I'm saying, for me, I'm number one. And I'm always in the party from the NRC to today. You see what is happening in the country? The youth are everywhere. All the party, the youth are there. But they cannot do anything because the system we are running in Nigeria, democracy, we have democracy, monetized democracy in the country, Nigeria. Which is not integrity democracy like America is practicing. And this monetized democracy, they use the youth and dump you. You cannot do anything. I'm the one I've tried for it to be somebody in the party system in Nigeria, the time of NRC to SDP. You know what they're doing? As they see I have a too much voice, they make me a chairman of the local government party chairman. A youth chairman. Like a youth chairman, they see that I want to voice out too much, they drop me, they put on that person. Because the people that are there, they have money. They have money. The money killed every system. Because Nigeria are poor, we have no money. People you go to the school as a graduate, all your grammar you are speaking, we have no money, you cannot go anywhere. And Nigeria is poor that when they use money to do everybody, they collect the money and go to big guys. Because the big man is in charge. We see, and this thing kill our system. Even inside the House of Assembly, everywhere, even the court, the judge cannot judge the right because the judge is collecting pin in salary. The judge is collecting maybe 200,000 or 300,000 in salary. Somebody will come and offer the judge that I'll give you 1 billion. And even you, as you sit down there now, they say you are collecting 300,000 and telling you want to give 1 billion and he will buy a house for you for abroad. Or by the way, something that's made this case for me. That's what is going on. That's what is killing our system. That's what is destroying our system. You know what? Democracy is the best thing in any country to have what our own is to monetize democracy. We cannot work without it because they already kill us, they already surround us with money.
All right. Thank you.
And because of poverty, we cannot do anything. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. All right. So yes, that was covered from Suleja. I mean, you mentioned it one time, right? You mentioned where you talked about one of the barriers of democracy, and you mentioned
money.
Yes, weaponized poverty. And I think he made a point, right? He made a point. When people think with their stomach rather than their heads, this is the kind of things you get. So yes, be a part of the conversation. Call us, give us your 2 cents, let us know what you think. We are talking about the inclusion of democracy. How can you be included in democracy? And this is the open minds conversation. Guys, feel free to say your mind because this concerns all of us. You can't afford to say, consign me. It concern you. You understand? It really concern you because, I mean, if you say concern you, when you go to the market to get something, it will dawn on you. When you're taking transport to work, it will dawn on you. When you give birth to a child, when you want to get baby food at the supermarket, it will dawn on you. So it really concern you. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Merit Maka and I am calling from Apo, Nigeria.
Merit Maka.
Oh, Merit Maka. All right, good to have you on the show. Let's hear you, please, Merit.
Okay, so I believe you said something earlier about party will not get mouth. This was the initial few years ago. There were just 2 opposition parties major opposition parties in Nigeria. The third one was not really there. So I would say youth need to get involved, whether the party gets mouth or not.
Yeah.
Because you don't even know when that change, that swift change, that big hit will just happen. Just like, I don't know if it's allowed to call party, just like what happened with Labour Party. I never ever think about them in my entire existence till Peter Obi got into Labour Party. That was when we started hearing about Labour Party. And I think it can be same with other minority parties. I don't know if it's right for me to call them minority parties anyway. But then also youth participation in politics in such parties can also help you build portfolios. it can help you build experience. Depending when you want to move or you want to move to another party or actively come out for elections and all that, manifestos and all of that. So you go there, shadow somebody, and then learn on the job. So I think we should get involved irrespective of whether cities are big or not. But then shout out to Abidemi and Vanessa. You guys are doing so amazing. Well done, girls. Well done.
Thank you,
All right,
Mary.
thank you.
Mary.
Thank you so much.
you.
Thank you. Yes, that is it. So, I mean, what makes the difference between minorities and majority, in my opinion, is numbers.
Yeah.
And just
true.
like you said, so
Numbers.
if we all come together, that minority could be
Exactly.
a majority.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I said, I mean, this concerns everybody. We all have to be included in democracy because it's our future, right? The future, our children's future, and future of the other generations to come. So, like, we have to be included in democracy. So, keep the calls coming. Let us know your 2 cents. Call us and tell us what you think, or ask questions if you have questions to ask. The numbers are 09073530044 or 09087668888. You can also drop a message on the WhatsApp platform on 09097054450. And in case you just joined us, we are talking about, this is open mind conversations, right? All right. I mean, open mind conversation.
Yeah.
Then we are talking about, is democracy inclusive in Nigeria, and how can it be more inclusive? How can you be included? Because this is your future. Like I said, it concern you. I mean, like I remember sometime on a couple of days back on X, there was this argument around egg.
True.
Like I don't know if you saw that conversation
Yeah.
right around egg. Everyone was like, people were saying they bought eggs for one time, which I can relate to.
I can also relate as and I'm a very young person. So
I
you can
understand.
imagine.
I mean, as a very young person, I remember back then in school, egg was like the
Substitutes.
the sapa go to,
Yeah, exactly.
when
you don't
you
have
can you can say, there's no money to buy
There's no
meat,
beef,
though.
no fish.
No beef, no fish. Let's stick to egg. When boys are trying to let's just put something for belly. Egg was the go-to. But right now, egg is luxury.
Okay.
You understand, right? So these are the things in which we talk about. We can't just sit somewhere and whine and just be behind our keypads and just talk. No, we have to start for a change. And that's why we are having this conversation. Abidemi, Vanessa, and myself, we are having this conversation on how you can be included in democracy. And that right, Abidemi?
Yes.
Yes, sir. So just keep the calls coming 09073530044 or 09087668888. But then, I mean, there's a certain myth, right? That they say young people don't have the experience or what it takes to go about governance. What do you think?
Thank God you said it's a myth. So I'm glad that you actually said it's a myth.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of young people doing amazing things.
Yeah.
If you go on social media, still back to social media, Nigerians are loaded, especially Nigerian youths. Look at the fintech, for instance. It's a lot of the Nigerian youths are the ones doing great things in fintech. Now, I'm not even just talking about fintech. Look at most of the CSOs in Nigeria. Nigerians are at the forefront of these places. We have so many of them in the media, same thing. So you can't, when it comes to experience, I would disagree, because we have a lot of Nigerians, a lot of young Nigerians with a proven track record, especially on social media. And why? Because we see these things a lot. They post about it and they are showing us. So when it comes to experience, and that's why I said at the beginning, why do we always question the excluded party? When it comes to experience, when it comes to qualification, when it comes to the competence, why is it only the people that are excluded that we are asking those questions?
Yeah.
Why am I asking the youth? Because the youth says, want to come and say, come on, go and sit down. Look at you.
What do you know?
Since when? Do you know since when we've been in power?
Yeah.
And all of why are they the only people that we are questioning? Why are we not questioning the people that have been rotating in these particular political processes all this time? So, okay, even if, let's say, they know Sabi, at least for a change, give us now, make we see first. And I also agree with you where you mentioned that, a lot of youths are emotional. We do a lot of things without, there are certain decisions that a lot of people take, and you are like, oh my God, it's because, or that thing that they're always dragging Gen Z, okay, now Gen Z, for on social media. But to now say that because of that, we use that to judge or to base their competence, I'm going to disagree. We have a lot of experienced Nigerian youth that can hold power. There are a lot of experienced Nigerian youth that have held several leadership positions in various spheres, in various places they've been, even in their communities, and some even from the universities. I mean, not to say that all the SUG presidents are even good, but there are some people that have actually like done, like they've brought actual change. The universities, for some people in SUG governments, they've actually, in student union government rather, they've been able to bring about changes when it comes to increment of school fees, the hike in school fees. A lot of things has happened because certain youths decided to stand their ground and say, this is what I want. We are not going to back down on this. And eventually, the school had to give in to their demands. Now, that is even for the school level. But in other spheres, like I said, we have a lot of experienced youth doing amazing things. To say that they do not have the experience, I am going to disagree.
Okay, so just to add to that, though, speaking about opportunity, Abidemi, so this is not just for people who even have, what I say now, the capacity, right?
True.
The criteria, but there should also be opportunities given to those who you have already seen a certain level of potential. However, we find out that this is a bit difficult. What do you think, about that? Giving a certain level of opportunity to those who have that potential to at least be there to lead in those capacities.
So can you ask a question again? I'm trying to understand your question.
Okay, so we say when it comes to inclusivity, and we have been told that it should only be given to maybe people who have a certain level of capacity. Just
okay.
Like you mentioned, when people are coming into power, we ask certain questions. Okay, where have you, what have you, even if they have this portfolio and that background. But what happens to giving that opportunity to people who have a certain level of potential that you have seen in one way or the other, just like you mentioned now, maybe through SUG and other platforms as well?
Of course, there's really nothing wrong in giving those people. But the problem is sometimes power is not given, power is taken. So that is where the issue comes from. And like one of the callers said, it is true of a very monetized democracy. And the truth is, to keep people asking for more, the people in power that actually have access and control of these resources, we want to make those people remain like that, so that whenever they come, they would always have something to hold up against them. He was very right when he said it's still the same youth that they use as political thugs. It's still the same youth that they used to come and wreak havoc when it comes to all of these things. But still, I do not think that why not? Of course, those people, if they have the capacity and if they have the potential, they should actually go there. But again, power is usually not given. It is taken. It is not something that somebody will say, okay, Vanessa, I like your face. Come and sit down in the National Assembly. It doesn't really work that way. Honestly, it doesn't. Okay. So that's just it for me.
Just thinking about that though, because I know we have a certain level of affirmative action in other places.
True.
So that cannot really work in an area of politics and governance.
Okay.
Yeah, and that comes to what I was talking about, right? How knowledgeable are we in the terms of governance, right? I feel like lots of people don't even know their political rights. Right, a lot of people don't even know that. Yes, that they are not well oriented in terms of politics and in terms of governance. And speaking of this whole thing, I feel like where it will start from is the grassroots.
True.
Right, where it's the grassroots. I feel like then build up to the top. And one thing we keep ignoring, or is like a blind spot in this whole governance thing and democracy thing, is we underestimate the little positions, right? Because how many people know the person representing their constituency?
Good question.
Right. How many people know the person representing their constituency? Well, we keep looking at the top. True. Right. So we realize that there are certain people representing your constituency. You start from the grassroots, right? From the House of Assembly to the councillor to the local government chairman, before you even go to the governor. And now that they are trying to like have local governments now can have their own autonomy. I feel like it's for inclusivity of democracy is like a plus. Right. So because youth can now have a say, you can now have that grassroots development. Because if you look at most of people who are suffering it are people at the grassroots. True. Right. I know for some of us it might be easy. I mean, we're still winging it. Right. We're winging it. You know, it's easy for some of us to to go here and there, but for some people it is hell.
True.
It is hell. So, what are like your organization, Open Minds? Is there any thing or any system in place that will attract democracy or inclusive democracy at the grassroots level? I mean, are you taking this message to the secondary schools? Are you taking it to the people at the market, or is it just limited to we who can speak English or know the? You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, because it's easy to speak from a place of privilege. It's easy to sit down here and talk about these things, but just to even say it, it's not easy for me to.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy for
It's
anybody.
not easy for anybody, because
I mean, it's
the
not easy
other
for
day too, you
anybody.
see this your egg conversation. The other day I wanted to buy egg. I got there, because usually I buy like 2 crates of eggs. So I got there and I couldn't even buy 2 crates. I bought half crate because of the price. But yes, I totally agree with you that this message should also be taken to the grassroots. For us at Open Mind Young Voices, we've not started grassroots advocacy yet, but we actually do community outreaches. We actually go out on the streets. There was a time that we had a particular manifest track project, and that project was to track the manifestos. That's why it's called Manifest Track. So it was to track the manifestos of the political leaders, political candidates that are coming into power. So to also hold them accountable. So it was more or less like a database, a dashboard where you could see the campaign promises and hold them accountable to it. So there were times that we were doing, we're out on the street asking people their opinions, going to the markets, going to several places to ask them. But to go to schools, not yet. We've not started doing that, but that I can speak on. That we've actually done the Manifest Track project, which it was actually very effective, because it was put on a dashboard. You can see what this person said. So years later, after 1 year in office, have you been able to do that thing that you said you were going to do when you came to promise us? So that's one way that Open Mind Young Voices is using to also be a part of the political process.
All right. So speaking of reach, right, what is the reach so far of Open Mind Young Voices? Like, so far, is it within Abuja? Is it within the North Central? Or how far has the reach been?
So for now, the classes hold in Abuja. So for Open Mind Young Voices, you have to actually be selected first, go through the 9 months intensive training. Then after the training, and these people usually come from various parts of Nigeria, but at the core, they usually encourage people in Abuja to apply. But we've also had exceptional cases of people that come from outside Abuja, because the classes hold Saturdays and Sundays, second Saturdays, and I mean, it's very intensive, so it's a weekend thing.
Yeah.
And then we have people that come from outside. There are people that come all the way, and they travel all the way just to come and attend these classes. So after everything, we now have the alumni network. So it's from the alumni network that me and Vanessa are a part of. And then these other people, we all go to the various places. We are doing our own thing. We have a lot of Open Mind Young Voices members in various parts of Nigeria, various parts of the world as well. So it's not just even within Nigeria. It's not like we are confined. So everybody just doing their own thing. Where you have projects, where you have programs, you bring it to the network. We all brainstorm together. We also come on board to the particular program. Yes, and that's it. Yeah.
All right, so it's just physical classes for now. No,
yes, physical classes. There's no online. Yeah, it's because it's really very intensive. So.
Is there like a way to are there plans to make it online so people in other parts of Nigeria could because I feel like so many people want to be a part of this.
True.
Because I believe your reach on social media.
Yeah.
I believe people who are scrolling through Instagram or anywhere might see this, and then they see that it's just in Abuja and it's a physical class, and I believe this change of a thing can happen anywhere.
True.
It's just like a spark, and it begins to happen. So are there like plans to expand it to maybe virtual classes to make the reach more wider?
Yes. So I can't speak on that, because the Open Mind Young Voices Fellowship is an initiative of the Frederick Ebert Stiftung Nigeria office. Yeah, so they are the ones managing the project. But for us as the alumni network, what we do is to now cascade projects down to the grassroots. We are now the ones doing the whole going out in the market, going on the street to speak with people. But yes, it's actually a recommendation that we can also take back to them. But that's why I said for us, we are just doing what we can within our own sphere. There are times that we also do webinars. It's not as if we only do fiscal. So there are times that we have webinars that we bring people together to speak. We also bring people in governance, people in key spaces. I mean, even some part of the lectures when we have the classes as well. They also also bring people that are actually working in the public service, people working in governance to come and speak with us, so that it's actually more practical than just speaking about these things. Yeah, so for us, we do webinars, we even do fiscal programs where we invite people, several youth groups to come together, speak. We even open it up to the public, not just, youth groups. We open it up to the public, whether you are interested or not. If you are just interested in attend, come and listen, come and share your own insights, come and talk out, so, and then we bring some of these people together, some of the people in power, to also come and speak, so that people ask them questions too.
Well, this is a really huge project, or huge, I won't call it project, because project usually has
a timeline,
but this is something that would keep going for as long as possible, right? So
I would say follow up for what we do on social media, so on Twitter, on Instagram.
Definitely. I would do that. So has there been any challenges thus far, any constraint or things that might be like a stumbling block?
I can't really say, because okay, maybe funding sometimes, because at the end of the day, money is what we usually need. So funding sometimes can also pose a challenge, but we are able to overcome it at the end of the day. So maybe just cut down on certain things, or just look for other approaches to carry out certain projects or certain initiatives. So funding sometimes is usually an issue.
Okay, so how can anyone listening, how can they be a part of this? How can they join? What are the steps to be a part of the Open Minds Network?
So what are the steps to take? So like I said, you can't be a part of the Open Mind Young Voices Network if you don't go through the 9 months fellowship. And they have actually started the I think the 7th or the 8th cohort now. Yes, the 8th cohort. They started last weekend. Okay. So the applications have closed for this year. But to be on the lookout for our other programs and other initiatives, like I've mentioned, please follow us on X. We're at FES_OMY on X. On Instagram, we are also at FES_OMYV. And then on Facebook, it's Frederick Ebah Stiftung Open Mind Young Voices. Yeah.
I want to spell that Ebah Stiftung for people, because you might want to spell it.
Okay, so it's FRIEDRICH, Frederick, then Ebert, EBERT, then Stiftung, STIFTUNG. That's Frederick Ebah Stiftung Open Mind Young Voices. But if you search for Open Mind Young Voices, you will see it. We're also on Google. So
all right, so better still, to make it easy for you, just go to Open Mind Young Voices.
Young Voices, You can even just search it on Google.
Yes, go to Google, search Open Mind Young Voices, or any social media platforms, and it will pop up. So ladies and gentlemen, we've come to today's end of the show. It was an amazing ride with Abidemi and Vanessa, because like I said, it concerns all of us who, if you feel like it doesn't concern you, when you step out there, the reality will hit you, and it will hit you hard, right? It will hit you really hard. All of us want a better country, right? Better representation, and the change starts with you. It doesn't start with us, it starts with you. You contribute your quota, we contribute ours, and everyone contribute their various quotas, and yes, we are having a headway. So for everyone who's tuned in, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm IK, and it was a great time. So you join us same time next week, right?
No, we're actually going to be having this 3 times in a year.
3 times. All right, no problem. So so then just to be a part of this whole thing, it's really important for you that's listening. It's really important for you to be included, right? Don't let someone decide your fate for you. Decide your fate yourself. So it's really important for you to be included in democracy, right? So just go to any social media, go to Google and type Open Mind Young Voices, go to Instagram, go to X, go to TikTok, anywhere, and type Open Mind Young Voices, and then yes, it will pop up, and you can be a part of the journey that's going to change our country. So thanks for watching. Thank you so much. I'll see you around. Bye bye.
Thank you too. Bye.
Yeah.